Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing work authorization, also known as work permits. So there are work permit requirements for foreigners in Thailand. If you wish to come into Thailand and undertake work, you do need to go ahead and obtain a work permit before doing so. As we've discussed in other videos, the definition of work is pretty broad. It's so broad as to be almost anything if it were so deemed. But that said, there was a time when things were far more restrictive. That time has come and gone. Let me get into this. I thought of making this video after reading a recent article from the Pattaya Mail. That's pattayamail.com. Article is titled, Thailand's 10 and 20-year visas face surging Chinese demand. Now, the point of this video and the excerpt I'm going to read doesn't really get to the thrust of the article. That article is rather interesting. I urge those who are watching this video go check that out. But I'm going to quote a quick excerpt here. Quoting, although elite cards do not include the granting of a work permit, special decree amendments already made to the Alien Labor Act mean that attending business meetings and acting on behalf of a foreign corporation no longer carry threats of fines, jail, and deportation. My response to that is yes, as far as it goes, and I'll get into this in a moment. So, first off, yeah, we talked about this on this channel going back years now, when there were a lot of people saying, oh, you don't need a work permit anymore to work in Thailand. You can just come to Thailand. And I saw this a lot in the context of the Amity treaties, Amity treaty companies. People were saying, oh, you don't need a work permit to come in and come in and work inside of an Amity company. Well, no, in the sense that to just simply come in and attend like a board meeting, you wouldn't necessarily need a work permit. But anything basically other than that associated with the company, yeah, it's pretty clear that you would need work authorization. They did make some special dispensations for specific corporate formalities. Again, shareholders meetings, board of directors meetings, because there were a lot of onerous restrictions associated, especially with multinational corporations, where somebody had to come into Thailand and essentially get temporary work authorization just to sit through a board meeting, which in many cases oftentimes is arguably a formality. But yeah, okay, so they did that with respect to employment. Meanwhile, they also bring up the issue of acting on behalf of a foreign corporation. Yes, in a specific context, there's no longer a work permit requirement, most notably in the representative office context. Yeah, you don't need a work permit if you're heading up a representative office here, although there are specific limitations to that exemption. I know folks that work in a representative office that do need a work permit. It's simply the one that's acting as the main rep, the person who's kind of heading up the representative office, may not necessarily need a work permit. That has turned out to be kind of a double-edged sword. I've seen a lot of folks who've had a lot of troubles associated with that, because then other government agencies, other than, for example, the work authorization department, I should say the labor department, they still want to see a work permit, which created all kinds of issues. So again, shades of gray on this, there's nuance to it. But yeah, long story short, with respect to like a passive shareholder of a Thai company, especially an SME, yeah, it is possible to fly in and just sit in a shareholder meeting and even vote one's shares without needing to worry about work authorization. But literally anything else could be deemed to be a work permit violation.